Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Ojalá que están teniendo un muy buen día. Pues aquí estamos con Mike Cargile. Él es el hombre que tenemos fe que en noviembre va a ganar y va a sacar a Norma Torres del Congreso de Estados Unidos. Todos conocen a Norma Torres, la conocemos muy bien. Pues ahora es tiempo que conozcamos a Mike Cargile. Él estuvo en la concentración en Los Ángeles, allá lo conocí y hoy lo tenemos para una entrevista. Pero lo vamos a hacer en inglés porque él quiere explicarse bien todo lo que él va a decir. Entonces yo voy a tener subtítulos abajo para que ustedes puedan entender todo lo que él está diciendo. Y si sabes inglés, pues vas a entender bien la conversación. Hello, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Just to get this out of the way, what did you think about the concentration or the meeting, the event Saturday at MacArthur Park in Los Angeles?
It was so encouraging to me to see how the people of El Salvador have embraced their president. It reminds me of the enthusiasm that is enjoyed by President Trump as well. So it was an honor for them to ask me to come speak in support of him because he is a leader who exhibits true leadership for his people, and he's done great things for the people of El Salvador. And like I said, it was an honor for me to address them and express my support for what he's done. And I look forward to helping him in some way, via the Congress of the United States to further the efforts he's already. I mean, he's accomplished so much in such a short time, which also reminds me of President Trump. But I the lady I'm running against seems hell bent on destroying everything that President Bukele is accomplished, and I stand against her.
Well, talking about Norma Torres, and just for a minute, we'll get back to her in just a second. But why do you think she is hell bent on destroying what President Bukele is doing? I mean, what is driving her to do this? Because no one understands. Supposedly, she's Latina. She was born in Guatemala, but she has totally done everything she could to make Bukele sound like an author, a dictator, someone that wasn't even voted into office, someone that's got military. I mean, she has lied so much, and everybody just sits back and asks themselves, why is she doing this?
Norma Torres is part of a concerted effort to not only take down the United States, but El Salvador via communism. I believe she comes from a communist family. I believe Norma herself is a communist. And if you see her actions in that light, suddenly they start to make more sense. Now, communism is at its core, it's a very small group of people controlling a very large group of people. It's a form of slavery. And so the people who are screaming, oh, we're against slavery and all this, are the very people who are actively promoting the enslavement of other human beings. Norma Torres thinks that communism is okay as long as you're part of the Central Committee or you're the new master group in charge. So they're doing this, they're creating division. Division is their strength. Unity is their enemy. They don't want us to be united. They don't want us to be strong, because when individuals have individual liberty, they see communism now as the enemy. So they're trying to subvert the United States using fear and dependence. They've used this pandemic to create massive amounts of fear. Then they shut businesses down, they cripple the economy, and they make them dependent on the government. What President Bukele is doing and what President Trump did was the opposite. He wanted to empower the individual. You have a good job, you're taking care of your family. You don't need the government. And that is what the communists are trying to fight against. They want us completely dependent on the government for everything. And that is what Norma Torres is part of. That's what the Biden administration is orchestrating, not only here in the United States, but everywhere where they're experiencing liberty and peace is the enemy of this administration.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's starting to make sense just hearing that because I never have thought of Norma Torres as communist, but thinking about it, that's exactly what she's promoting. What is your plan for the Latin community?
Well, first, make them safe. You know, we have a governor here who has emptied the prisons and then tried to disarm all the citizens in California. Norma Torres is a vocal opponent of people being able to secure their family, to have a firearm, to defend themselves and their family. She's also voted to or been a proponent of defunding the police. She was part of this atrocious George Floyd and policing bill where they remove qualified immunity for police officers. So she's, even though she was a 911 dispatch operator, she has done everything she can to destroy the police. Without the police, there's lawlessness. You can't protect anyone. So first we have to make our communities safe, and then we have to have jobs. You don't have jobs with welfare checks. So she has been a person who has supported high taxes, high regulations, and she herself loves to go out and give out free food to people. And I would say, Norma, they didn't come here to get a handout and stand in line for free food. The people who come here come for a better life. They come for an opportunity at advancement for themselves or their family. That's what the American dream is. That's the dream I want to safeguard. She wants to destroy it. And so she is the enemy of the United States, which makes her the enemy of freedom-loving people everywhere.
Well, a lot of people are saying that she seems more of an enemy than even a friend to her own country, and that's pretty sad. And it's sad that so many, even so many Latin people, not just in El Salvador. I get letters from all over the place. You know, they've come to just not like her at all. I mean, she's actually hated, and that's
Well,
she's done that to herself.
do you? Nobody's doing the research, but how many staff has she lost? Her staff turnover is kind of legendary because she is a very mean person. And I think this is probably because, and this is between me and you and your listeners, I don't think she has a real degree. I think she got a fake degree from a mail-in degree from a defunct university. I don't think she's as intelligent as she would like people to think. And so once they sort of pierce the veil on that, once you start getting to the real issues, if she feels like you're going to understand that she doesn't comprehend the issue, she gets mad. She gets angry. I debated her last cycle, and when I exposed her two-faced attitude towards the police, she went nuts. She screamed at the camera, called me every name under the book. They had to literally unplug her camera and mute her because she wouldn't quit calling me a racist and this and that, you know, and she's been attacking me for the last 2 years via her friend George Soros. He's the one that's sort of her, you know, the way she can get things through the media and attack people.
Well, talking about money, and I made a video on this probably a year ago. There was like all this money that came into her campaign, and
Right.
they were talking about that it probably came from one of the organizations that George Soros has. I mean, do you think that he's financially backing her, or one of his foundations is?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at, you can look at where the money's coming in. It's not coming into her campaign from the district.
Right.
Most of it's coming in from Washington, D.C. And these sorts of areas. But she spent $600,000 on just direct mail pieces
Right. Yeah, we
attacking me.
talked about that.
Yeah, no. So this, and it was great. It was really good because it showed us what's really going on in California. Norma Torres showed us. She's the one race that showed everybody what's going on in California. The reason is I couldn't get no, I'm in contact with a lot of other candidates, and their opponents wouldn't even mention their name. And they're like, Mike, what are you doing? Norma is attacking you like we've never seen before. Why is this occurring? Well, we know that federal elections are conducted at the state level by the state legislatures. This came out in all the trials. So Norma has been at war with the California Democratic Party, her own party. So she had to do everything she could to make sure that she won her seat back. I don't think she won it. I think it was still the cheating was off the charts. I think I won that race, but that's okay. It was very illuminating for a lot of us. But what she did then exposed the mechanism that they have used to negotiate. And I mean both parties. I am at war with the Republican Party just as much as the Democratic Party, because they have decided that all of these races. So if the Democratic Party is in charge and they run the elections, not a single Republican should be in the seat. So the fact that Kevin McCarthy has a seat, the fact that Young Kim has a seat, or David Valadao has a seat in California, when the Democratic Party can say, no Republicans. But the fact that there are Republicans means those seats were negotiated. Lies, deceit, and division.
Yeah.
This is the currency of the left.
There's 2 elections coming up for you, right?
A primary and then the general. The
Right.
primary
When's
is
the
in
primary?
June. Right. The primary's in June. The general, their midterm, is in November.
Okay. Now, talking about Bukele a minute. When did you start following what he was doing in El Salvador, or when did you hear about him? I mean, was it recently? Has this is something you've been following for the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, you hear things, but the first time I really took notice, where he got my full attention, he did an interview on Fox, and it was
Tucker Carlson.
eye-opening with Tucker Carlson. Exactly. And I saw a man who understood the problem that was occurring with our immigration and its impact on both countries. Both nations suffer with the illegal immigration. And he put it so succinctly, and I was so impressed with his answer that I lose basically the greatest resource of El Salvador when the people come to the United States, and the United States loses its value when they ship the money back to El Salvador. This is bad for both countries. And it was such an astute answer. And I was so impressed with him. So then when Norma Torres goes on, attacking him and starts, maligning him in a way that doesn't make sense, well, that got my full attention too. Why? Why would you attack this man that seems to be doing nothing but good for his own nation? And in his own words, El Salvador is safer than Chicago. So we're elevating the crime of Chicago, and we're trying to tear down the man who is literally building his country out of the ashes of communism. This makes no sense to me. I believe, I'm a Christian, and I'm very, very, first thing I say is I'm pro God. And because without him, there is no country, there's no nothing. And the United States and a lot of the world now is suffering under a cabal of satanic people. They literally are Satan worshipers. And when this is occurring, we have people who are making decisions that are the opposite of good. The decision making is only in pursuit of evil. And Satan in the Bible is called the father of lies. Have you ever seen more lies than what we are surrounded by right now? We are under a cloud of darkness and deceit like I have never seen before. So our true enemy is Satan and the ones that are literally worshiping the devil. And whether people want to believe this or not, the people who are making decisions for us are. And you have to recognize that. That's who they are. Everything they do is twisted. It's the opposite of what those of us who say we possess common sense. They're incapable of common sense. So they're going to tear down the good. They're going to lift the bad. What is right is wrong. What is wrong is right. This is how these people function. We cannot coexist like this.
What would you like to tell the people that are listening to you that live in your area? Maybe they have friends. Maybe they don't live there, but they have friends that live there. I mean, why should people vote for you?
Well, that's an excellent question. In the last cycle, I met a gentleman and he came up to me and he said, Mike, you're going to have to work for my vote. And I thought about that. I said, what does that even mean? Do you want me to come over there and wash your car? What does that mean? Work for my vote. So it bothered me. And I really started thinking about it. And I thought, that's how I've looked at politicians in the past. I want you to tell me what I want to hear. And so we get these surveys from politicians. What is the most important issue to you? And by the way, send me money. I hate that. So I said, that is not the way I'm going to operate. What I want people to know is who I am. I want people to know exactly who Mike Cargile is because I don't change. Pro God. What does that mean? Well, it's not any God. It's the God of the Bible. It's the God who gave us, the laws that we function under. It's the creator mentioned in our Declaration of Independence, that we are all created equal and we all have the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That God. I am pro-family. What does that mean? Well, it means I'm pro-marriage, the biblical definition of marriage, mom and dad and kids. So I want the kids not to be taught that they're racist. I'm against critical race theory, and I'm against the LGBTQ indoctrination of our children. Children shouldn't be taught adult topics, and they shouldn't be taught that sin is right. There are people who in my district, and they say, well, I'm a homosexual and that's my lifestyle. And I go, that's fine. I'm here to guarantee you life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What you do with that is up to you. And the consequences of that are on you. I'm here to make sure you have the freedom to choose. Choose right, choose wrong. It's up to you. So I'm pro-family, and I'm against mandates on vaccines for the kids especially. And I'm also for keeping boys out of the girls' locker rooms and bathrooms and sports.
In sport.
Boys are boys, girls are girls, men are men, women are women. Let's get back to the way God designed us. I'm pro-life. Life, all life, from the moment of conception to the time your heart beats its final beat and they put you in the ground. That whole span of life is important and needs to be safeguarded and valued. Here's one of the ironies of this is Norma Torres was a 911 dispatch.
Mhm.
So when they get a call and they want to find out, is the victim still alive? They check for a heartbeat, a pulse. So she knows intrinsically that if there is a heartbeat, it is a living being, and yet she's still willing to kill it. That is evil. So I'm pro-life and I'm pro-jobs. I think less taxes, less regulations, and not just any job. I want to see a resurgence in manufacturing and well-paying jobs where a single parent can make enough money to where their spouse can stay home with the kids and the house, and they enjoy the lifestyle we used to have here in the United States, which I see blossoming in El Salvador. I want that for this country as well. And I want that for all of the nations, for Mexico, all the other Central American nations as well. And I just tweeted this out. The greatest security measure we could ever have at our southern border is a safe, prosperous Mexico and Central America. I believe, the greatest immigration program that if we can get there is the greatest in the country, and we will fix the whole immigration system inside 3 years. But the final point I raise is police, and police is law enforcement and the military and all that. Second Amendment, the right to defend yourself and your family with whatever means is necessary. And I want a strong defense for this nation, and we should quit using our soldiers as sort of an experiment for these social things that they're trying to do. It's wrong, and I'm against all of that as well. Was that enough?
That was clear, straight, and I think everybody knows where you stand on everything now. So that's great. By the chance that President Bukele might see this, maybe, uh, if you could send him a message, what would it be?
Hold the line. Things will change, and our nations will work together towards a common goal once again. A season of evil has been visited across the globe, and we have to stand fast, shoulder to shoulder, against this. We have to call it what it is, though. You can't defeat evil with lies. You can only defeat lies with the truth. So I stand first before God and say, hold the line. We will be back in a, I'm taking President Trump at his word. The best is yet to come.
Well, thank you so much for being part of the program tonight. And hey, just be strong and let's see what happens.
Well, I can't thank you enough. It just, you reaching out is very encouraging. The reception of all those wonderful patriots there was very encouraging. We have a lot of work to do ahead of us. Unseating Norma Torres is step one. Now we have to undo the damage, and then we move forward with common goals. And I look forward to that. I really do.
Thank you so much. And your website is what?
Cargile for Congress, and that's Cargile, Cargile, FOR, Congress.
Okay. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
May God bless you too.